So here's a question for you. What if you could live an entire life, a whole life, without ever being truly honest about the things that trouble you the most? We're going to dive into that very idea, looking at a profound fictional manuscript from the great Japanese author Natsume Sōseki. It's a story all about memory, regret, and this deep search for an authentic life. And it all kicks off with one of the most haunting opening lines you will ever read.
So who's saying this? Well, that's the voice of our narrator, Sōseki, a 53-year-old writer. Now, on the surface, he's living this respectable life, but underneath it all, he's just wrestling with this quiet sense of contradiction. The manuscript says his unvoiced troubles sit like stones in a winter pond, just heavy, cold, and silent.
And then, out of nowhere, the past sends this powerful echo right into his present. A single letter shows up, a reverberation from a life he thought he'd completely buried. It's from his old university buddy, Matsuda, who, it turns out, is in a sanatorium and only has a few months left to live.
Wow. You feel the subtle challenge in those words, right? Honest about dishonesty. It's like this very polite, but very sharp accusation. This letter? It's not just an invitation to visit. It feels more like a summons, forcing him to finally confront this powerful, unsettling idea they talked about decades ago. An idea Sōseki has pretty much spent his entire career trying to right around.
And that idea, well, that brings us right to the philosophical heart of this entire manuscript. It's a concept that Matsuda threw at Sōseki all those years ago, and it's clearly been haunting him ever since.
There it is. That's the central question of the whole story. It's a question about what modern life is, about authenticity, and really about this deep sense of disconnect that, let's be honest, a lot of us feel but we just can't quite find the words for.
So what does that actually mean, living in translation? Think of it like this. It's the feeling of being a copy of yourself. The sense that your life, your job, your relationships, even your own thoughts, is sort of a secondhand version, translated from some true, original self that you've totally lost touch with. It is just a profound metaphor for inauthenticity.
And our narrator, Sōseki? Oh, he is the poster child for this idea. He's a man completely at war with himself. I mean, look at this list. He's a writer who doesn't like writing, a teacher who doesn't trust teaching. He's built an entire life on evasion and keeping things at an intellectual arm's length. He is the definition of a man living in translation.
So, driven by this letter, and really by the ghost of his own inauthenticity, Sōseki makes the journey to this mountain sanatorium. And when he gets there, he finds a skeletal Matsuda, a man ready to finally unload a guilt he's been carrying for 30 long years.
And this is the tragedy at the absolute center of Matsuda's regret. See, as a young man in Berlin, he became incredibly close with another student, a guy named Dmitri. One night, Dmitri opens his heart, confesses his feelings, and offers this moment of real, raw, vulnerable connection. But Matsuda, he panicked. He deflected, pretended he didn't get it, and in that one single moment of cowardice, he set off this devastating chain of events.
His whole life, and Dmitri's too, really hinged on this one critical choice. On one side, you had the path of truth, which meant risking intimacy, being vulnerable, maybe stepping outside of what was normal. And on the other side, the path of safety. Protecting his reputation, retreating into the comfortable story of who he was supposed to be. He chose safety.
And right here, Matsuda's own words just perfectly capture the pain of it all. It's this unresolved question that's been eating away at him for decades. He sacrificed something real, and maybe even someone's life, to protect an idea of himself that now, at the end of his life, he can't even define. The real tragedy is in that not knowing.
Okay, and this is where Matsuda's story becomes so much more than just a confession. It turns into an accusation. He's basically holding up a mirror, forcing Sōseki to see his own reflection, right there in his friend's failure. Boom. That line changes everything. All of a sudden, this story isn't just about Matsuda's past anymore. It's about Sōseki's present. And it implicates him, and maybe, just maybe, it implicates all of us in the very same failure. That daily choice we make to live a translated life instead of an authentic one.
And this is where the manuscript turns that question right back on us, the readers. It forces us to ask ourselves, what are the small evasions, the little compromises in our own lives? Where do we choose the safety of what's expected over the risk of actually being true to ourselves?
This all brings us to the story's climax. As his life is fading away,
Matsuda uses his last moments not to complain, but to deliver this incredibly powerful and urgent challenge to his friend. What's so powerful about this is that the fear driving this whole confession, it isn't death, not at all. It's erasure. It's the absolute terror of having lived a life so inauthentic, so translated, that it just leaves no mark, no meaning. The fear of simply vanishing, as if you were never even here.
And there it is, Matsuda's final poignant charge. It's a direct command to his friend, and you can't help but feel he's saying it to us too. It's a plea to stop just observing your life, stop analyzing it from a distance, and to actually get in there and live it, to finally close that gap between the person you are and the person you pretend to be.
And that leaves us with this final echoing question. After walking us through a life of regret, the manuscript doesn't give us any easy answers. Instead, it just leaves us to think about its incredibly profound central theme. If our life is a secondhand version, a translation, what does the original text, our truest, most authentic self, what does it actually say? And, maybe more importantly, do we have the courage to read it?